Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the studio. Here we are once again. Howdy, howdy. Hello, hello. How are we all doing on this fine Wednesday? I'm doing quite well. Howdy, gamer. TJ, welcome back. Good to see you in the chat. Hey, TJ, what's the deal? I didn't see you at Gencon. I mean, I think I must have just missed you. I think I must have just missed you because you stopped by the Golden Light booth, and it was like one of the few times that I was not there. You were making a little milk delivery, as I understand it. Running many errands, yes. Yes, I'm sure. Well, bummer that we didn't get to connect, but hope you had a good time. I know I did. How was your Gen Con? Good, I hope. Mine was quite nice, and we're going to talk about it today. One of the many things, well, not many things. We have a couple things on the agenda. But yes, here we are once again. It's Wednesday, and we are streaming. Got a stream for you today. Got a stream for you on Friday. It's just me today, flying solo. Arl's joining us once again on Friday, and TBD what we're gonna be doing. I've got a game that I would like to have ready for you by then to do a little play testing. We will see if that gets finished in time or not. We will see. In fact, I can give you a little sneak peek right now. I think I may have already shown this off on stream. We'll go back to the desktop scene. This is Gachapon. This is not first version, but current version of Gachapon. I'm not going to talk really about what's going on here on these cards. We'll save this for Friday, hopefully, but just to give you a little taste, this is, I do have something. I do have something in the works, and it's not Mythmash this time. I know you guys are probably getting a little burnt out on Mythmash, I would imagine. So we're going to put that on the back burner for a little bit. Obviously, there's still much more to do with it, but I think it's time that we work on some other stuff. Super busy. TJ says super busy. Picked up too many games. Yeah. Yep. I can imagine. I'll tell you, there were a lot of games to pick up. There were quite a few games to pick up this year at Gen Con. Any standouts? Did you get a copy of Arcs? I was lucky enough to grab one. I did not, however, get Captain Flip. And I was a little bummed about that. Didn't get Captain Flip. I didn't get the gang either. The new Cosmos trick-taking game. Shout out to our buddies at Cosmos. Yeah, what else did I get? Comic Hunters. Yeah, Comic Hunters was hot. That was a hot ticket item. I saw the line for that one and I said, I don't know. I'm not that big of a comic book fan myself. So I figured I'd leave copies for the people that were. But it does look like a nice little game. Looks like a fun time. And it certainly was popular, so very cool. Well, speaking of Comic Hunters, here it is on the hotness list. I am interested to go through this and see how Gen Con has affected the Board Game Geek lists. Although I think, we're just gonna. I think the plan is gonna be we'll briefly. We're just gonna look at these. We're not gonna jump into any pages. We're not gonna watch any videos. Because I do want to get to like a recap. But this is how we start the show every time. So let's keep it consistent. And maybe next time we'll. When Arl's here on Friday, I think we'll dive more into the new additions that we've got here. So first of all, there's the Geek Buzz list. And, there's Captain Flip. There's Arch. River Valley Glassworks was a game that I saw a lot of at Gen Con. Yeah, these cute little mascots running around outside of the hall. Dressed up in like, well, you can see they're dressed up as like the little animals on the cover. Yeah. I didn't see a gator one, but I did see a beaver and a little otter. It's very cute. Yes, there we go. Yeah, you're like picking up little tiles. I don't really know anything about the game. But it was at Gen Con, and it was very well promoted. So there you go. That's River Valley. We're not going to go through all of these, but just to briefly look. Captain Flip, like I was saying, would have loved to get a copy of that. Did not grab a copy. Arcs. I did secure a copy of Arcs. That is on its way back. I had a friend ship my games back for me. So those should be getting here within the next week or so. And yeah, I think I'm going to do some unboxing stuff. We're going to get into this copy of Arcs that I picked up along with some of the other games. So definitely stay tuned for that. Did not see this. Okay, wait, here's TJ's list. We've got Let's Go to Japan, Merchants of Magic, +2 expansions, Journey, Adventure Quest, Stock Exchange, Harvest, and Wrath of Fire Mountain. Very cool. Yeah, Harvest. I mean, these are all hits. You got all the hot ones. It looks like. Yep. We looked at. I think we looked at Harvest and Stock Exchange. That was on the Geek Buzz list before we left, so we checked those out. Those both look killer. Yeah. You know what? I did not see Undaunted 2020 at Gen Con. I must have either missed the booth or I don't know. But I didn't see that. I didn't see Rock Hard 1977 either. Yeah. Far Away. I did see Far Away all over the... Well, not all over the place, but saw that a couple times. There's Let's Go to Japan. This would be a good game for me, I think. As I will be going to Japan. In like less than a month now. That's crazy, actually. Dang, I need to get some stuff figured out for that. Post office. Didn't see this. That looks cute, though. What the heck? What the heck? I saw this. Yokohama was definitely there. Landmarks was definitely there. There's the gang. There's Colossal Cat in the Box. We're going to look at that today, actually. I've got some video footage. Spoiler alert. That's what we're doing later on. Is I've got... Boy, howdy did I get video clips from Gen Con. I was busy filming like a storm. So I did... I got some clips of Colossal Cat in the Box. And we're going to be editing that down today, I think. I saw Far Away, but the person who demoed it wasn't super great. Ooh, bummer. Bummer. It's always hard to judge a game when the person that's teaching it to you doesn't do a great job of teaching it to you. Although I feel like that speaks a little bit to the game, too. A game should be easy to teach. So... Anyways, all right, we're not going to dive more into that than this. We're just going to look at the hotness list. Was Comic Hunters not on? I don't remember seeing it on here. Yeah, interesting that it's not on the Geek Buzz. It was certainly prominent at Gen Con, but I don't see it on here. Intent to Kill, I don't remember seeing that either. Anyways, we got a lot to look at on Friday. But I think we're going to save the rest of this for Friday. That's going to be all of the BGG browsing that we do for today. So, speaking of Gen Con, should we do a little story time? I think let's do a little Gen Con story time. Let's do the whole recap. So, Gen Con 2024, how did it go? It went quite well. It was quite fun. I had a good time. Sharp from the top. Flight out there, I think was right on time. Got there right when I expect. Well, maybe there's a little delay, actually. Small delay. But you know how air travel is these days. So, small delay. We can live with that. got to Gen Con, or got to Indy, hopped in an Uber, dropped my bag off at the Airbnb, went straight to the show. And yeah, immediately started walking around. Saw a bunch of friends. Spent a lot of time this weekend. I helped out with the Golden Light Dice booth run by my good friends Alex and Sophie. Some of you might remember, well, most of you watching the stream probably know Sophie already, and Alex as well. They're all Dirt Gang. But Sophie's been on stream before. Just great people. Just good people, you know? Good people. So I helped them out with their booth and sold some dice. They're nice dice, guys. They're really nice. I got to show you this, actually. Let's go back to the desktop scene. You guys got to see these dice. Because holy moly. All right, let's go to the gallery. Get a load of these dice. So they're all handmade. No, I'm sorry. I don't want the wait list. You can just text me if you have updates. I'm sure I'll find out about them. They're all handmade. They're resin dice. Most of them are like floral patterns. And look at you can't really see the size of the scroll bar on this screen. But look at all these. Look at all these dice. Look at all the different sets. Now, my understanding is that they don't currently offer. I mean, they've made so many sets over the years. Wait, these are sick, actually. Hold on. I gotta go back to these rainbow ones. What the heck? Spectrum? What the heck, dude? That's so sick. Man. They come with a little D2 as well. It's just, spoiler alert, it's just a coin. So, yeah. Hung out at the booth selling these all weekend. And, yeah, super... Just nice dice. Does it get any better than this? I don't know that I've seen dice nicer than this. This is pretty peak. So if you're in the market for a new set of dice, definitely check this out. They are pretty pricey. I won't lie to you. They're pretty pricey, but that's 100% worth it. I mean, the amount of time and care and effort that goes into making these, really even the pictures don't do it justice. You kind of have to see them in person to understand just how. Really, what you need to do is like hold them up and look at them in the light, and watch the little flecks and stuff in there reflect off the. It's just, they're gorgeous. They're really, really nice. So, not to glaze up Golden Light Dice too much, but man, definitely check these out. So, anyways, did that. That was a big part of my weekend. And kind of in between shifts at the booth, ran around the floor, bought a bunch of games, and filmed a bunch of stuff. Mostly, that was most of my weekend, or during the show at least. So yeah, Thursday, I got in on Thursday. Made the rounds. I mean, the first day, I feel like you don't even really. It's hard to even tell what's going on. There's just. The hall is so big. There's so much stuff there that you just kind of walk and do your best to soak in, you know? So I did that. I don't think I bought anything on Thursday, but I was taking mental notes, and I was like filming stuff that stood out to me. Let me show you all this footage that I got. I've got it organized already into folders because what we're doing later today is getting in and we're going to edit down some shorts. So, got some... I tried to film... I filmed every anime trading card game that I saw at Gen Con. So there's some footage of those there. I filmed the coolest booth that I saw. We're going to do a booth tier list. Gen Con booth tier list. This is that Colossal game where we're going to... I got a nice little bit going for that. I'm cooking a little bit. Artwork. Okay, so a lot of the show, there's so many games. You don't have time to play all of the games. Mostly, more than playing games, I at least spent my time just kind of looking at games. And so when you're just looking at games, the first thing that stands out is the artwork. And so we're doing... sorry. I'm looking at I'm reading chat. However big you think Gen Con could be, it's bigger. Yeah, it is. It's a good way of putting it. It's just really, it really is honestly hard to take it all in. The first day especially, you get there and you're just like, what the heck? I've walked for hours and I've still not even scratched the surface of all the stuff that there is to see here. Cyberpunk, not a lot of footage here, but I did pick up a copy of this game and I would love to, I'm planning to kind of do a little deep dive into it because I think it's really interesting. I got a chance to talk to the guy at this booth that runs the, I think he, we don't need the audio on this. My understanding is that he designed this game or adapted it from what the previous Cyberpunk role-playing game was. So anyway, for brief history of Cyberpunk as a whole. So debuted in like, I want to say the 80s as like a role-playing game, sort of D&D adjacent. I could be off on my timeline here. I need to go in and really do some research on what the timeline of this is. But it's a role-playing game to start, right? Cyberpunk 2020 something. I think it's 2020 something. That's what the original one is. And then role-playing game, it's like a sleeper hit. And then later on, as the year that the game is supposed to be set in approaches, CD Projekt Red picks it up and makes a video game adapting the role-playing game, as they are famous for doing. I think they made... I really don't want to get too much into the specifics of this because I know I'm going to get something wrong, but they make role-playing style video games. And so they make a Cyberpunk video game, Cyberpunk 2077. Obviously, that's a huge hit. And so then the video game's a hit, and then Studio Trigger, anime studio, out of left field, picks it up and is like, you know what, we're going to make an anime about this. And so they do, and that's a huge hit. And now all of a sudden, fast forward to Gen Con 2024, here we have the Cyberpunk 2077 Edge Runners anime role-playing game. So we've come full circle, is what I'm trying to say. It's all come full circle. And the game that started as a role-playing game is now once again a role-playing game, with all of the like previous iterations that have built it up over the past few years kind of worked into it. So I thought that was super cool. Grabbed a copy of it. I think I'm going to try to put together a piece of content on this game, and just like the weird, wild roller coaster ride that it's been on to get to this point. So anyways, that's the Cyberpunk footage that I've got. That's going to be very cool. Here's this big banner for it too that you see on your way out to go to the food trucks or whatever. That is my one regret, or not, one of my regrets from this weekend, is I did not get to enjoy the food trucks as much as I did last year, because they all kind of slap. There's a lot of really good food at Gen Con, I think. For me, at least. Okay, so that's the Cyberpunk. Did some playtesting. This I actually already posted this. This is up on my Instagram right now. Some photos of playtesting. We playtested Mythmash Chrono Clash. Got my Blue Moon, Mountain Dew, pizza, card games. Come on, this is just like, this is peak. It really doesn't get any better than this. What more could you want in an evening? Hanging out with friends, playing card games, chowing down. So sick. There's Sophie. She kicked my butt. As you can see, I'm very upset in this photo. I think this is the game-winning play here for her. So, she's looking quite smug about it. And we got to play some Cards with Shapes as well, so... yeah, that went over really well. Cards with Shapes. I can't believe I haven't done Cards with Shapes on the channel yet. I guess it's mostly because it's kind of a... you need more than 2 people to play it, and usually we're just 2 people... 2-person stream. But I'm going to try to set up something in the near future, I think. We're going to try to get a gang going. Get a crew assembled to play some Cards with Shapes one of these days. So look out for that. But yeah, I got to playtest that. Went super well. This game's ready. And this game's basically ready, I think. So more to come on that in the near future. And then here's some random footage. I'm not quite sure how to frame all this stuff. This is just like mostly cool stuff that I saw that isn't board game adjacent. I have like a lot of Pokemon card footage, so I think the clip is going to be something like, here's like non-board game stuff that I saw at Gen Con, and it's like pinball, pigeons, Pokemon cards, something else, Pokemon cards. Okay, sorry, it's just a Pokemon card clip now. Okay, bye. That's my plan for this. King of Tokyo Origins, I got to visit this. Got to sit down with the booth here and had the guy confirm to me that it is basically, well, it was weird. He didn't want to, it seemed like he didn't want to admit that it was basically just King of Tokyo. Like he kept trying to frame it as like, oh, you could think of it as like an expansion. It's like kind of an expansion to the base game, but it like also is just the base game. Some new cards, I guess. The monsters are new, but obviously the monsters don't do anything in King of Tokyo. They're all the same. So it's like, what actually is the difference? I think there is one thing. I think the monsters do actually have like special powers now. They have like a power card that he was showing me. I don't know. Somebody else walked up as I was trying to talk to him about it, and they seemed more like interested in buying a copy of this than I did. So I handed the floor over to them, got my footage and left. But yeah, not to dunk on the game. King of Tokyo rocks. I love playing King of Tokyo. It's just like probably it seems like basically the same thing, so don't think I will be picking up King of Tokyo Origins. But if you don't already have a copy, I would recommend it. It's a good time. Here's a big bin of Pokemon cards. Yeah. Man. I showed so much self-restraint this weekend. I did not buy any Pokemon cards. No Pokemon cards were purchased in last week's Gen Con experience. So, be proud of me for that. I really wanted to. I really, really wanted to. But I felt like we're at a board game convention. We got to buy board games. Plus, it's always cheaper online for Pokemon cards. So, probably just doing that. Okay, so that's footage. Zero magic cards. Let's go, dude. Let's go, TJ. Yeah, it's an impressive feat. It's hard to do. Hard to do, isn't it? I know it was difficult for me. So I'm proud of you. Yeah, so Thursday, hung out at the booth, walked around, soaked it all in. Friday, got there early. As I was lucky enough to have an exhibitor badge for my friends at Golden Light. And so I got to get in early, bought my copy of Arcs while they still had it. Although it seemed like they were restocking it every day, and by Saturday, Sunday, there were like plenty of copies left. So hopefully it wasn't too hard for people to get a copy of that. I did get my copy. So that's what I did like early Friday morning, spent a lot of time at the booth, went around, did a little more shopping. Picked up a lot of stuff from the All Play booth on Friday. Picked up Things and Rings, Lure, Big Top, I want to say, or whatever their circus game is called, and then also, oh gosh, one other game that was not in the little small box. Yeah, TJ, you got to get a booth next year. Tell you what, dude, if you want to, I'm trying to get a booth next year. Trying to help out at my booth. I could probably use the help. I don't know. We'll see. Very far off in the distance, so lots of stuff to figure out by then. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I guess there's not. Oh, Friday evening, I did get to go to a super cool Kickstarter mixer outside of it's like at this hot dog place. Well, it's a bar that also is like, I wouldn't say they're famous for their hot dogs, but there's like, it's like a bar, and then they also have like a lot of cool hot dogs there. Calling it a hot dog bar seems like the emphasis is on the hot dogs. It's not. It's like very clearly a bar but they also have gourmet hot dogs. So anyway, the mixer was there and the food was free, and I got to do some mingling and talk to a lot of people about their experiences with Kickstarter. Got some insights. I think I feel a little bit differently about Kickstarter now. I don't think it makes a ton of sense. I mean, the people that I talked to were in agreement with me that the kind of stuff that I'm doing right now doesn't really make sense to kickstart. It's like low price point items, low risk funding, low risk project. So doesn't really need, if you have the capital to just fund it yourself, probably you should just do that. I think what I learned was that where Kickstarter really shines, and I'd like to do a piece of content on this also in the future, kind of going over like when Kickstarter makes sense. But I think when it makes the most sense is when you already have distribution deals lined up, right? So you're talking to you've got this game, maybe you've got like a demo prototype from the factory, and you're shopping it around to different publishers, or if you're the publisher, you're shopping it around to distributors, and you're saying, hey, I've got this awesome game. What do you think? They're like, I love it. I want, 5,000 copies. You're like, cool. 5,000 copies for them. 5,000 copies over here. These are ballpark numbers, by the way. It doesn't, I'm off the cuff. You've got 10,000 copies of the game that need to be printed anyways. So now what you do is you run a Kickstarter, and whatever else, whatever comes in from the Kickstarter, you just add that to the order that you're already going to place. And so now you've got these extra, all the money that you're making off Kickstarter. Yes, they do take their 10% cut, which sucks, but if you're planning on selling these games wholesale to distributors anyways, the price that you're getting after the Kickstarter cut is like, that's retail. You're getting retail minus 10%. And that's way better than selling games wholesale. So you're like, I'll take that. I'll take any amount of wholesale that I can get, or retail that I can get, even at 10% off. So, yeah, that's the base. That's the base level. My newfound interest in Kickstarter is, perhaps we talk to some distributors. Perhaps this is a good business practice after all. TJ says, how does that work with the housing lotto, though? Probably what I would do, what the Golden Light Dice people did is they just got an Airbnb. Because I know that like hotels are insane around Gencon. You got to book that like months, years, even out sometimes. But there's like plenty of Airbnbs, especially if you're willing to take like a 10, 15-minute drive into Gen Con each day. So probably that's what's up. Just find whatever. Yeah, what's up, Sophie? What's up, Soap? Thanks for tuning in. Good to have you here. Good, man. Gen Con, though. How about Gen Con, huh? That was fun, wasn't it? I had a lot of fun. Thank you again. Thank you guys so much for letting me hang all weekend. It really was a pleasure. We're talking about it right now. So, yeah. But yeah, I'll probably just grab an Airbnb. You do what you can. You work with what you got. Hotels, they're probably not in the cards. Unless you're like a massive company that's been coming to Gen Con for years and years and years. Honestly, I don't know how some of these companies, they've got to be taking it as a marketing expense. They've got to be losing money on this and writing it off as a marketing expense, because the cost, I was there for Teardown, and I was seeing like the massive pallets upon pallets upon pallets that some of these vendors, exhibitors, were having to load their stuff back onto, just like the booth setup alone. And when you get to that level, you have to, I assume you have to have the company that runs that's in charge of it. It's a company called Fern that I think kind of coordinates with the vendors of that size to like receive shipments on their behalf and unpack and repack because they're going around the hall with like these massive machines. They've got like forklifts and like the big cranes to set up. So it's just like all kinds of insane machinery. The amount of effort that goes into building some of these booths is just like nuts. And so you got a contract with them in order to set this booth up, in order to even get your stuff to Gen Con in the first place. That's going to be thousands. That's thousands of dollars. That's thousands of dollars to do that. And then you also have to ship all of your games there. And then you also have to ship everything back afterwards. And then you also have to pay for the booth. And then you also have to pay for the hotel, which, you know, is exorbitant because it's Gen Con. And then you also have to pay for all of the staff. And I saw the size of some of these teams. In particular, we were right across the way from Renegade Games. And they had like probably a 20-person team with them for Teardown. And so that's 20 people that you have to put up in hotels and pay for their time at the convention. And pay to like teach them what they're doing, you know, ahead of time. You got to like, I'm sure there's some training that goes into that ahead of time. And so you could easily spend $50,000, $100,000 on this show. And I mean, they're moving product for sure. They're moving a ton of product, but they're not moving $100,000 worth of product. I don't think. I mean, their booth is busy, but it's like you got to be. Okay, let's break it down real quick. If you want to make $100,000 at Gen Con, it's a 4-day convention. The hall is open for 8 hours each of those days. So 8 times 4. You have 32 hours in which to make $100,000. So 100,000 divided by 32. You got to be making $3K an hour. Okay? $3K an hour in order to even cover the cost. Maybe $100K is highballing it, but I kind of don't think so. I mean, I could easily see spending 25 on like the booth setup alone, and then another 5 to get all the games there, and then another 20 on hotels and food, and then you got to pay. I don't know. Maybe I could be way off base. I'm just trying to ballpark it here, but oh, I see. A lot of workers at the big booths are volunteers. Okay, well that helps, but I'm sure they're not. They're still getting put up in hotel rooms, though. I'm sure they're still getting put up in hotel rooms, and I wonder if they're getting flown out, if their flights are getting paid for. You think no? You think they're not getting put up in hotels? They're just showing up. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, that does help a little bit, I suppose. Yeah. Interesting. I mean, that seems maybe a little exploitative, but interesting. Yeah, it's crazy, but I know some of the larger groups don't really pay the people at their booth. It's usually just food stipends and the badge. Huh. Okay, well, that's good to know. And that changes the breakdown of this expenditure report that I'm trying to put together here. But still, even if you cut that number in half, maybe you're paying $50K for your booth at Gen Con, okay? That's got to be close, right? That's got to be close to what it costs you to show up. And I'm talking about for like a big booth, for a big booth, like Renegade Games or Cosmos even, or the Op or something like that. That's got to be a $50K expenditure. So you just divide this number by 2, and now you got to be making like $1,500 an hour. So, I mean, if your games sell for average of $50, divided by 50, you got to sell 30 games an hour. That's a game every 2 minutes. I mean, can you even really process transactions that quickly? I mean, I know some of the transactions are going to be multiple games, Um, yeah, yeah. Sofa's saying it's about 2,500 for a 10 by 10. So maybe 4 times for a larger area. Yeah, so that's 10K. That's 10K just for the space. And then you got to get all the equipment. You got to like buy all of the booth setup stuff, which I'm sure is not cheap. I feel like 50K is very. That would be a very bare bones, like large booth like that. Yeah, I'm sure some of it is reused. But I don't know, like, not to hyperfixate on the Renegade Games booth, but they had like a lot of stuff there for Heroescape, which they're debuting at this show. And if I remember right, some of it was even like specifically Heroescape now available. And like, so how much of that is really going to get reused? You wonder. And like next show, they're going to have a new thing that they're trying to launch. They're going to need new promo material for that. So there's at least some expense tied up in like new promotional material for your booth. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're able to sell 1,500 an hour in games, then maybe you break even on this. But I don't know. Even if you do make money on it, you have to think about like how all the time spent, right? All the time spent coordinating this, and yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on chat here. Sub says cheaper than you think for print stuff. You can get a banner for like $100 to $300 depending on material. No, I know. I've bought banners before. But I mean, so think about like the Flesh and Blood booth. Flesh and Blood TCG set up right across the hallway from us, and how it was like all illuminated, and it comes in this like really nice rigid metal case. I don't know if you saw that when they were packing it all up. Yeah, I mean there's no way you're getting one of those for like under $1,000, and they had like 4 or 5 of those. So I don't know. All I'm trying to get at here is that, you know, it's got to be. I would be surprised if people are like turning massive profits on Gencon. I feel like for these bigger booths, it's really all about getting your game into the hands of people that wouldn't have bought it otherwise. And like that's obviously a much more meaningful sale than like selling your game to somebody that is a lifetime customer and is always going to buy all your stuff either way. So not saying it's not worth it. I'm sure. I mean, they would know better than I would if it's worth it or not. And clearly, they keep coming back. So, I'm sure that it is worth it for them. I'm just saying, the scale is mind-boggling. Yeah, that's all I'm getting at here. Think of the massive Lorcana. Okay, that's true. Lorcana, Ravensburger probably does make money. They're probably making money at Gen Con. That is a good point. There are probably booths that are turning a large profit. Specifically, if your product is like value dense, right? So this is even why I think you guys, Golden Light Dice, are like this is a great show for people like this, where the value of your product is very dense. Small products that sell for high price points that you can transport in cost efficiently. You can have a lot of it stocked at your booth cost efficiently. And yeah, just kind of turn around sales like nobody's business. So yeah, the massive line for Lorcana, the Lorcana line was nuts last year. Lorcana, I'm sure, felt very good about their Gen Con presence last year. And this year too. I mean, it wasn't nearly the same, but there was a line for it pretty much 24/7. So yeah, they're making bank for sure. They're doing very well for themselves. And Cosmos too. Cosmos had a massive line for the gang, pretty much all weekend. And yeah, I'm sure they turned a profit on this thing. I'm sure they moved tons and tons and tons of copies of that. But yeah, for some of the other booths where like maybe the product isn't quite as hot, and maybe it's like a bigger box and it's not quite as value dense, it's like, man, you got to really want to move those copies. I mean, you have to be, yeah, you just have to be looking at it as a marketing expense, I think. I don't know. That's my take on it. That's kind of something that's been going through my head a lot recently. It's just the economics of running one of these things. So, yeah. Yeah. Sorry, let me catch up on chat a little bit. TJ saying you got to double dip on those to get because it's cheap cost for advertising. Plus, you get to write it off. Yeah, I think I'm assuming this is about the signage and stuff when we're talking about that. Yeah, you do have to double dip. You have to be going to like a few shows, and I think that's also why the big booths, the big name booths that you see, are they're not just a Gen Con. They're going to they're going to PAX. They're going to like all the PAXs. They're going to like Comic Cons. They're all over the place. They're going to Essen. So yeah, if you're hitting multiple of these conventions over the course of the year, like you're making like a tour out of it, then yeah, that certainly starts to make a little more sense. Especially, I think this is probably the key actually, is if you find a way to be able to ship your booth basically just from one con to the next, to the next, to the next. So you're not having to pay for that return shipping each time. You're just shipping it straight from Origins. You're forwarding it from Origins to Gen Con, to PAX Unplugged. I mean, I know there's a pretty big gap in between those, but there's like a whole con circuit at this point of like board game conventions that you can go to. And I'm sure a smart marketing manager is trying to kind of chain those together in a cost-effective way. So that's a big part of it, yeah. Also, I think it's also why a lot of these booths are pushing Kickstarter instead of a release at Gen Con. Yeah, for sure. I mean, this kind of dovetails into what we were talking about before with where Kickstarter makes sense. If you know you're going to Gen Con and you know that you've already got a distribution deal lined up, and you're like, I got to order this anyways, might as well do a Kickstarter, right? Might as well give these people 10% off because it's going to be cheaper. It's going to be cheaper to sell it to them after Kickstarter takes their 10% cut than it will be to transport all of these games to and from Gen Con. So yeah. But I mean, even if you do sell on Kickstarter, I think you probably make more sales at Gen Con. They're not going to I don't think they're going to eat into each other necessarily. Especially if they're like well-timed, you know? So like the Kickstarter delivery happens and then like a month later Gen Con's happening. So ideally the people that got their Kickstarter pledges, they've already gotten them in the mail. They've been posting about it online. It's like blowing up on Board Game Geek. Gen Con rolls around. Now everybody that missed out on it, they're going to come by your booth. So yeah, I think I can see the pieces fitting together for all of this, how it becomes like a very it's like a big puzzle that you got to min-max. Yes. Yeah, Sophie says Fern shipping also can be okay cost-wise because they handle many of those cons and they do that direct shipping. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so if you find a service like that, I mean, I guess Fern is the service. It seems like they're pretty much the exclusive freight manager of Gen Con, and I assume Origins too, from what you're telling me. Yeah, from con to con, we saw it advertised at Origins to have stuff shipped to Gen Con. Yeah. So yeah, if you can chain them together like that, then maybe it does start to make more sense. Maybe that's probably the key. That's probably the secret to it all. Yep. Very interesting stuff. I don't know. Hopefully this is interesting for you guys too. I find it super interesting, just like the high level, top down economics of all this. And that's why I say I'd love to put together like a content piece on this, like a not quite video essay length, but like a nice beefy video that just kind of delves into an analysis of like how all this stuff happens, you know, the sort of inside baseball of board game conventions. I wonder if it's also, I imagine it is also the same across lots of other industries like anime conventions, and I don't even know what other types of products they do conventions for, but I'm sure there's many of them. I'm sure there's many of them, and I'm sure they all kind of follow the same business model probably. So very interesting stuff. Anyways, okay, I think that's about enough Gen Con talk for me. I'm trying to think if there's any other highlights that I wanted to hit. I got to hang out with Isaac Meyer a lot from Barnmade Games. Not a lot, but I saw him at the Mixer. Saw him a couple times throughout the convention. Saw him at the airport actually on my way out, and it was really cool catching up with him. He just had his Kickstarter funded, and it seems like his other game, Expressions, is kind of popping off right now too. So super happy for him. Got to have some conversations about like what that's been like for him and lessons learned, and I think no promises or anything, but it seemed like he was down to come on the stream at some point too. So that might be in the works. That'd be super cool. That would be a cool stream, I think, to have Isaac come in and do a little play testing with him. Maybe even play test some of his stuff. That would be a fun time, I think. That would be good content right there. So maybe I'll try. Oh, wait, here we go. Maybe I'll try to get him in on this multiplayer Cards with Shapes game that I'm trying to get in the works here. So you should also, I need to talk to you about this offline, but you should also, I'm trying to put together a like 4 or 5 person playtest stream in the next few weeks here, where we all get on and play a round of Cards with Shapes, just because it's kind of hard to play 2-person. I mean, you can do it 2-person, it works, but it's certainly better with 3 or 4 or 5 even. So I'll message you later about that, but just to kind of plant the seed. So that was cool. And anything else? No, I think that's it. Maybe I'll think of something as we go through the video clips here, but I think it's probably time that we move on. We're almost an hour into the stream anyway. So that's my Gen Con recap. For sure, hit me up if you got more questions about it. I'm super down to talk more, but yeah, for now, let's move on to the next sort of leg of this stream, which is going to be editing down some Instagram Reels and TikTok content and YouTube Shorts, short-form videos, vertical videos. So as I was mentioning at the start of the stream, got a ton of footage while I was at Gen Con. Sophie can attest to this. She saw me out there with the camera doing my little getting all the good angles. So yeah, I think the final tally was 83 videos that I shot over the course, and of course a lot of those are very short, but 83 videos over the course of the weekend, and I've got 6 shorts that I want to edit them down into. I've got a little doc going here of the shorts that I want to make. So game haul, this is actually going to be, once my games get here, I need to shoot that footage. I don't have any footage for that right now, because it's just going to be like games that I bought. And yeah. Then I want to do an cool game art short, where I just kind of go over, here's all the cool game art that I saw. Cool stuff that's not games. I'm not quite sure how to spin. This is like a lot of the same stuff between these two, so I have to figure out like an angle to put those two together. Cool con booths. This might be cool as a tier list, or at least just like rating them on a tier. Anime TCGs. How many anime trading card games are at Gen Con this year? Let's count them. 1, 2. There's a lot. Spoiler alert, there's a lot of them. So that'll be a fun piece of fun little clip to throw together. And then this is where we're going to start with, actually. I have like a little script written out for this one. Yeah, so this is kind of like a new... We're experimenting today. We're experimenting with a new content type just dropped. It's called We Edit and Record and Produce Shorts live on air. So that's what this is. Welcome to my stream. It's going to be so fun. So why don't we just get into it, gamers? Let's just get into it. Let me pull up the Premiere project. We're in Adobe Premiere right now. Which honestly seems like maybe overkill for the type of editing, for my personal editing needs. For the type of editing that I want to do here. But it is what I have access to, and if you thought I didn't know how to work Illustrator, I definitely don't know how to work Premiere, so this will definitely be a learning experience for me. I've done it a few times before. I've edited down some shorts, and I've always been able to get it to come out before, but it will probably take some Googling along the way to figure out exactly what some of these hotkeys are, where all the... What the heck? What are you talking about? You're opening Premiere. It's already open. It's already open! What do we... Oh, you're opening it in 2023, dude? Cringe. Cringe. Close that. Brother, ew. What's that, brother? Let's open project. Studio Spicy, Instagram, Gencon, Colossal. Open that up. Yes. Oh, hello? Okay, yeah, this is... No, this is not it. How do I swap between projects here? Oh, like this. Okay. So that's the sequence. Got it. Okay. Hopefully this audio is not too loud. I might need to, This is going to be very loud. Maybe I'll just turn down desktop audio. Right here, it has all the promo. How loud is that for you guys? Is that overpowering? I'm going to turn it down. I feel like that's going to be way too loud. But you guys let me know how the audio ends up coming through here. So yeah, I've got a script written for this. Basically what I want to do is Colossal Cat in the Box, not so colossal. But if you want to see something really colossal, here's Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. It's $400. It's $20 per pound, the guy at the booth told me. It's $1.20 per miniature. And it's the biggest box I saw all weekend. Look at this. Look at this behemoth. Comes with a playmat, comes with, I mean, a ton of minis, I guess. Like almost, what is that, going to come out to like 300 minis? Or something crazy? Over 300 minis? That's insane. That's insane. But if you want to see something really colossal, you got to head over to the Universe's booth. They've got this bad boy chilling out front. And speaking of colossal, it's also kind of colossal spoilers for Attack on Titan, by the way. So, anyways, that's the clip. First thing we want to do is get this audio out of here, because I'm going to dub over it. And I've got some... I don't know why, but I feel like the Wii Shop music is going to be a vibe for this. For all the Gen Con pieces I'm putting together here. What are we looking for? We're looking for unlink. And then we're just going to delete. Okay, so let's drop some music in first. Well, no, let's do the voiceover first. So I think usually the way that I do this is... I think the way this is going to work is I've got my script. I'm going to record bits for each of the 3 video segments. And then I'm going to trim the video segment to match the length of whatever the audio ends up coming out to. So I think we're just going to jump into it. And yeah, you guys are getting this is a behind the scenes look at what video creation is like. For me, at least. I don't know. I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. I'm sure there's better ways to do this. But whatever. Gotta start somewhere, right? So once again, I got my script off to the side. That's what I'm going to be reading off of. There's going to be lots of takes involved with this. But we'll get it eventually. And no better way to do it than to just start. So quiet on the set, please. Everybody, quiet on the set. Wait, why can't I voiceover record? What's up, Alex? You think I got this in one take? No way, dude. No way I do it. Well, we'll try. Just because you said so. Challenge accepted. I'll try. Confidence is low. Okay? I'm just trying to set expectations here. Let's see. VoiceOver record settings. Countdown sound cues. We don't want that. That's the mic we want. Is it still coming through? Yep, still coming through on the stream. Very good, very good. Okay. All right, here we go. Quiet on the set. Check out this game called Colossal Cat in the Box. Now, okay. Hold on. Done. See, there's no way I got it one take. I don't even have the script done. I've got a rough script here. But yeah, I feel like I need to find the tone for this. I need to find the tone. Am I doing my YouTuber tone? Are we going a little more casual? What? Shut up, dude. I told you. There's no way I have this. No way I have it in one take. Check out this game called Colossal Cat in the Box. All right, that does actually sound kind of good, though. Maybe I should have just one-taked it. Should have just kept going. All right, hold on. Let's give it another go. Check out this game called Colossal Cat in the Box. Now, I have the original version of this at home, and while it's a good bit bigger than that, I think calling it Colossal is a bit of a stretch. Still very cute, though, and the game itself rocks for sure. If you really want to talk about Colossal, though, this is Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. With a whopping $400 price point, the guy at the booth told me it cost $20 per pound and $1.20 per miniature. Probably the biggest box I saw all weekend. But if you really want to talk Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth, where they've got this bad boy sitting out front. And also, spoilers? Hello? Okay. There you go, Alex. One take. 2 takes, I guess. But, all right, so it's a good starting point. Right off the bat, we can see that the Cat in the Box clip is clearly not long enough. I might need to trim the script a little bit. Let's just watch it back. I would love, by the way, to find a way to lower the playback volume in Premiere. I feel like that's one of the things that I've always had a hard time with. So let me do a little Google searching real quick to see if that's easily obtainable. Oh gosh, how do you frame this? How do I phrase this question? Because I don't want to lower the volume of the clip. I want to lower the volume of Adobe Premiere. Do you ever just put in stills for pause or just use clips you film? I mean, yeah, that's an option. I could like clip a still from this video and then like kind of tag that onto the end. I feel like the style, yeah. Well, I feel like the style I'm going for here is like continuous video, though. If I was gonna do this, and I should have done it this way actually, probably I should have gone in and gotten like really good still frame shots in addition to the video for this very purpose, so that I could go in and like do like photo book style 1, 2, 3 images after the video rolls if I need to fill out the time. That's a good idea. I feel like the image quality from just the video that I've got here is not going to cut it, you know? So kind of my thought here is the first thing I want to try is seeing if I can edit down the script to be short enough to accommodate the length of this clip. The second thing I could do is slow down the playback speed by like turn it to like 80% maybe. I feel like that probably won't be noticeable. But we'll see. If it is noticeable, then I think my next option is going to be to do like a little boomerang style, play the clip in reverse after it plays forward, and then just kind of cut it where I need to cut it there. So those are my options, or at least the options that I've got kind of in the back of my head. But yes, first we're going to figure out how to lower this volume, because I'm telling you guys, it is so loud on my end. It is so loud. Adobe Premiere. Lower playback volume. Oh, okay. Yeah, duh, that makes sense. Right click on this, volume mixer. Yeah, okay, yeah. So just turn this down to like 50%. Let's see what 50 sounds like on my end. Colossal? That's not any quieter. Colossal cat. What is 100%? Colossal cat in the box. Okay, 12 seems to be doing it just fine. Check out this game called Colossal Cat in the Box. Now, I have the original version of this at home, and while it's a good bit bigger than that... Cringe. I don't like the YouTuber voice. I'm cringing. I'm cringing over here. Before we write it off entirely, though, I feel like we do need to get the Wii Shop music in the background. I do think that's going to add a nice little bit of ambiance. So let me... Hopefully we can just drag this in here. Oh, yeah, for sure we can just drag this in here. All right, now check this out. See if this is any better. Check out this game called Colossal Cat in the Box. Now, I have the original version of this at home, and while it's a good bit bigger than that, I think calling it Colossal is a bit of a stretch. Still very cute, though, and the game itself rocks for sure. If you really want to talk about Colossal, though, this... You guys like my little streamer overlay, by the way? My little shorts overlay? A little branding, a little social links. Pretty nice. This is Castle Panic Deluxe Collection with a whopping $400. You want to see the sea shanty, TJ? That's just straight up not happening. There's no shot I do a sea shanty live on twitch.com/studiospicy. Price point. The guy at the booth told me it costs $20 per pound and $1.20 per miniature. Probably the biggest box I saw all weekend. But if okay, let's give it another take. Let's try casual. Let's mute this. Let's mute this. And let's look back at the script and see how I can trim down Cat in the Box a little bit. Should I just wing it? Maybe I should just wing it. We're going to try just winging it once. We're going to try just winging it just this one time. All right, here we go. Check this out. This is called Colossal Cat in the Box. Not very colossal if you ask me. I do have the original version of this at home, and it's bigger than that, but yeah, not colossal. Okay, so this is the thing. We're pausing. Clearly, that's too long. This is the thing, is I think no matter which way you cut it, this clip just needs to be longer. So let's tackle that problem first. Let's make that our first thing that we mess with. So let's try speed and duration. Let's set the speed to 80%. That's going to make it 20% longer. Let's try 75%. It bumps it up to 10 seconds. Excuse me. I assume this is going to be the best way. Frame sampling, I assume that's the best way to do this. Let's see what it looks like. Mute this. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think that seems fine. Let's turn this back on. Just kind of see where we line up. Check this out. This is called Colossal Cat in the Box. Not very colossal if you ask me. I do have the original version of this at home, and it's bigger than that, but yeah, not colossal. You're right, Alex. Casual's the way to go for sure. We're deleting the YouTuber cut right now. Get the frick out of here. That does sound much better, I will say. I like that quite a bit more. I think let's just take it from the top. And let's also try giving this... Let's see if 70 feels okay. Let's see if 60... Let's see if 50 feels okay. I'm sure 50 is going to feel like crazy slow. Yeah, that's like... Yeah. So 50 is too slow. Let's see what these other sampling things do. Frame blending. Let's try that on for size. No, it looks just as bad. Cat in a box, but make it colossal? Yes, please. Now see, the thing is that it's not colossal though. That's what I'm trying to get at here, is that I don't know why they called it Colossal Cat in the Box, because first of all, the cat is not colossal, nor is it like that much bigger than the original game. Especially when you compare it to Castle Panic, you know? But I do need to figure out a good, concise way to communicate that. But first, let's see what speed duration we can get away with on this. It's like slightly larger at best, yeah. Still feels too slow. Let's try 70. We were at 75 before. 75 we know we can get away with. I think this is fine. If I didn't know this was being slowed down, I think I wouldn't notice. So. All right, let's, now that we've got that, let's give this recording another try. All right, here we go. All right, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is a bit of a stretch comparatively speaking. Okay, that was so close. That was so close. If I don't slip up at the end there, I think we got it. Here we go. Let's try it again. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. Did we do it? Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. We can even trim that. We even got time to spare, guys. We got it. We got it! Let's go! That's hype. All right, we're getting there. Speed duration. Let's take this back to 75. Oh, yeah. Definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. All right, that's going to be... We're going to call that good for now. We're going to call that good. Let's move on to Deluxe Castle Panic. Now we have plenty of time with Deluxe Castle Panic. So, I think we can just wing this. Maybe even too much time. We'll see. Let's just give it a go. Let's just give it a go. If you really want to... Oh, hold on. I got to turn off that music. That's going to throw me off. All right, here we go. If you really want to talk about Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So the guy at the booth told me that this game... It's $400. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Restart. Redo. Got to bring up the $400 price point from the start. Here we go. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. If you really want... Unmute this. Let's hear it with the audio. Let's do just Castle Panic first. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. Nice. Sick. Killed it. Done. Easy. Mute this again. Just going to go straight into this. I think we actually want to reverse this clip because we want to get the universe's sign playing at the end. This might be another one that we need to speed up, slow down, whatever. So let's start with that. Let's take this to, let's try 80%. And then... Is there an easy way to just flip this? I don't see one. I'm gonna need to Google that 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Adobe Premiere, play clip in reverse. Right click on it and select the option that says speed duration, and window will pop up with a checkbox that says reverse speed. Oh, okay. Okay. We were so close. We almost got there on our own. Yeah, there it is, reverse speed. Okay, let's try that. For some reason, it feels like kind of jumpy, I think. Not sure why. Let's take it back up to 100% and leave reverse speed on, see what that does. Biggest box I saw at the convention. Maybe it's fine. Yeah, that's probably fine. Let's try 90. Give just a little extra time. All right, let's just record this and see how it goes. All right, think about what I need to say. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy chilling out front. Get a load of that. Kind of huge spoilers, too. Kind of colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, too, though. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy sitting out front. Kind of colossal spoilers, too. Let's do it again. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth. Ah, dang. Dang, dang, dang. Again. Go again. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to... Jeez. Why is it so easy to slip up, specifically when you're recording? All right, here we go. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy sitting out front. Kind of colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, too, actually. Psyching myself out, yeah, that's for sure. That's for dang sure. All right, I think if we bump this to 75, we for sure get there. Man, we're close. It's close. Let's see how this goes. I saw at the convention. Unmute this. Take the volume down on this, actually. Audio gain. Minus 20. Minus 10. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy sitting out front. Kind of colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, too, actually. Okay. Okay, I think we go again. I think I can edit this down a little bit. Mute this. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, head on over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy sitting out front. Kind of also colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which is kind of funny. Got this bad boy sitting out front. Kind of also colossal Attack. If you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they... Dang it. We will get there. We will get the cut. We will make it. We are going to get it. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of colossal Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan. Dang it, dude! We were so good. We were doing so good. Okay, can I salvage the front of this? I feel like I can. Only the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you gotta... Okay, there's also some time to be saved here. We can kind of go like this a little bit, I think. Hold on. Yeah, that's probably fine. Convention. But if you really want to... Whoa, what did that just do? But if you really want to talk about Colossal, you got to head over to the Universes booth where they got this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan. Titan. Everything changed when the Titans attacked. Okay, here we go. Last try, last try. This is it. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universes booth has this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. Heck yeah. Dang, is it really 10 years old at this point? I guess it is. I watched that in high school. Man. Okay, but here's the thing, though, is that I don't think that anime took a long time to air, like a long time. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you fell off halfway through, you know, if you decided, it's been too long, I'm not watching this, you probably don't know that Bertold is the Colossal Titan. That's, like, pretty deep into the series spoilers, I feel like. But, I don't know. I wonder what the meetings looked like. Surely there were meetings about, is it cool to print this on a card, or is that too much spoilers? All right, let's play this back. I feel like we got it, though. Convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universes booth... Okay, we can cut out that little pause there in the middle. Cut. And then drag this to about there. Oh my gosh. Why is that so easy to accidentally grab? Universes... The Universes booth has this back. Oh my gosh. Can I just set it to 0? I don't need to see this. Whatever, that's fine. Audio gain. Wait, no. Oh, I guess this is how you're supposed to adjust that. Interesting. 1.1. I guess we'll put it at that's fine. The Universes booth has... Man, is there really not just like a way I can manually punch a number in for that? Effects controls. Aha. Okay. 0. There we go. The Universes booth has this bad boy. The universe... Okay, kind of hang on the for a little too long. Dang, 11 years old? That's crazy. That's crazy that Attack on Titan's been out for 11 years. What's even crazier is that it finished, like, last year. It's a long show. Also, the universe... Also, the... Okay, we gotta get really zoomed in on this. Maybe I just need to re-record it. See how this goes. The universe... No, it's too choppy. Oh my gosh, no, stop. 0. You guys tell I don't use Premiere Pro very often. Let's try this. The Universe's booth had... Maybe they just cut out the entirely. No, that's not going to be a good cut. Let's play it back from the top. The convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universe's booth has this bad boy sitting... That's not even that noticeable. Also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. I think that's the cut, guys. I think we got it. Trim that back. What are we sitting at, like 30 seconds? Yeah, 35. That's a nice time. That's a good amount of time for a short, I feel like. No, stop. Actually, the way that we should do this is to go into not that. We should go into audio gain. Oh, did I not change it here? I thought I did. Okay, whatever. Like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per minute. Okay, well the volume's fine, so we'll just leave it as is. Let's watch the clip. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal... Oh, we can cut out some time here. This can come back a little bit. This can come back. Actually, you know what? We should just change the speed, actually. What do you think, 80? Oh, yeah, perfect. Check that out. Right on the money. Just grab all this. Bring that down. Okay, here we go. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universe's booth has this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. Heck yeah. There it is. That's the clip. That's the short. I like it. I like it. I think we're good. One other thing that I wanted to experiment with is messing with the speed of this music, actually. I want to try it at 120. Just to see what that sounds like. Okay, so this... Oh, wait, no. Forgot to check the box that makes it not annoying to listen to. Speed duration, maintain audio pitch. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want... No, that's too fast. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universe's booth has this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. Cool. All right. Last thing I want to do here is get some subtitles going. And there is an easy way to do this. I forget what it is. So let me try to figure that out. I think it's the text menu. Create captions from transcript. I don't know. I don't know what this is. Can I load my own? I'd love to be able to load my own, because I am going to have to mess with this. Transcription preferences. I don't think we want to separate it. I wonder if this means like speakers as in like speakers on your headphones, or if it means like if two different people are talking in the clip. Let's see if this is the tool that I'm thinking it is. Does it work? Oh, yeah. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. Okay, so they're at the bottom, which we need to change. So we're going to select all of these, go to Effects, Transform. No, that's not what it is. Okay, well that seems to work fine. I can't bring it up top, which is a little weird. Should it be in the top or in the middle? Maybe it's better in the middle. I feel like that's what I see more frequently. Let's put it in the middle. You want mid to bottom? Okay, we can try that. Now what I need to know is if that's going to change all of these, or I have to mess with them one by one. Yeah, I got to do them one by one. Dang. See, what I would love is for there to be a transform setting that I can that I can just manually mess with and copy and paste across all of these. Yeah, know what I mean? Okay, well, it did a good job with the captions at least, so that's nice. Oh, also, I noticed my gotten like a little darker outside. I got to turn my exposure up. Hold on. Hold the phones. How about this? Yeah, there we go. It's much better. Much better. I think we're about to get some rain. Alex says, yeah, that way they don't cover the center of your video. It won't get blocked out by whatever buttons. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Good thinking. Okay, so here's the real question. Can I... Okay, so I can change the text font for all these at the same time. So we can change it to anybody. And we can... I think probably want the... Well, let's try it. Let's build the stroke and backdrop first. Turn stroke on. Black is fine for now. I would love to get a better view of this clip. Five seems good. We're going to add a drop shadow as well. And it's going to be 100%. Yeah, I think this is the distance. Yeah, that's good. 10's probably good. I think that looks pretty good. 6, I don't know what this says. Oh, interesting, it grows it? Okay. Maybe 5, 3 is probably good for that. Let's try 5. And this is like steps, I think. Oh no, that's just how blurry it is, I guess. So we want 0 for that. Okay. Why is the A just kind of off to the side there? That's weird. Put this back up. See what this does. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universe's booth has this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was up front. So funny that it knows to capitalize Attack on Titan. That's pretty wild, actually. Also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. But it doesn't know to capitalize Cat in the Box. But that's okay, we can change it manually. I assume in the is not capitalized. I assume. Why is it cutting this off in a weird... Oh, because it's icy. Because the box is not big enough. Should we bump up the size on these captions too, or is that good? That's probably good. Okay, I guess we'll just move all these manually. Take out the punctuation. Seems like we're going a little bit higher for the rest of these. For the first one, at least. That's probably good, actually. We'll raise these up. You see what I'm saying? This is such a pain to have to manually do each of these. How are we doing consistency-wise? Dang, still not high enough. I should have checked that. sure why it does a short line here. Like, this is not very many words, and this is quite a few words. I'm not sure why it does that. I kind of wish that it wouldn't. Maybe we can manually fix this. Gonna delete this second comma. And then we can kind of split the time like that. I want to talk Colossal, though. Check out Castle Pan. Yeah, perfect. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Colossal. Let's change this to $sign. So $400, the guy. It's like $20 per pound. Something like that. So I don't know, definitely. Almost there. Change this really to all caps. Got to change universes too. Is there 2 spaces there? No. Okay. Okay, shall we? Shall we watch? Admire the fruits of our labor. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universes booth has this bad boy sitting up. Okay, we do need to split this up across a couple lines, actually. So let's get in here, copy all this. Maybe do it like that. I think that's probably good. And come over here, paste that in. And then mess with the timing on this just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. See how that sounds? But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the universe... Perfect. Perfect, perfect. I feel like I saw one other thing in here that could use some splitting up. Oh, yeah, this one. Honestly, that's probably fine. That's not that much text. I think just splitting it up on lines like that is better. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universe's booth has this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. Sick. All right, I think that is it. Let's... I want to see what this text looks like in like this neon green instead of white. Put it in the color palette. Make the stroke like that. Make the drop shadow the same color. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. I think I like this more. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per... I don't know, what do you guys think? How do we feel about the neon text? Is that hurting our eyes? Or is that good branding? Pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So, I don't know. It's definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossal, the Universe's booth has this bad boy sitting out front, which is also kind of Colossal Attack on Titan spoilers, which I thought was pretty funny. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, I think I'm going with it. Well, I don't know. Let's see it back at the black and white one more time. Whoa, what happened here? Did we lose something? Okay, so this... No. Change this to white. This to black. This to black. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat in the Box. I don't know, that's easier to read. This at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it... Oh, white with the purple shadow? Okay. Let's try that. Purple stroke, too. Okay, so this is Colossal Cat. Oh, yeah, that is kind of nice. I've got the original version of this at home, and I gotta say, Colossal is definitely a bit of a stretch. Sick game, though, for sure. If you really want to talk Colossal, though, check out Castle Panic Deluxe Collection. So it's $400. The guy at the booth was telling me that it's like $20 per pound and like $1.20 per miniature. So
Yeah, I think I like that, actually.
Definitely the biggest box I saw at the convention. But if you really want to talk about Colossus,
all right, that's it. That's it. It's done. It's over. That's the clip. Clip number 1 in the bag. All right, let's export this bad boy and move on. Actually, we're not going to export right now. I'm afraid that's going to fry my computer if I'm trying to stream and export at the same time. So we're just going to save it, and I will go back and export these at a later date. So save, and we're good. Okay. Let's go file new project. Let's do the anime trading card game one next. Oh gosh, how do I navigate this? Do you guys like all of my little from when I had long hair? All my little what do you call these? Headshots for thumbnails. Studio Spicy, Insta, videos. No. Gencon 2024. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do the anime one next. Yeah, you forgot, huh? Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to forget. I think we just want to grab all of these. Sorry, an error occurred. Okay. Well, we do have another Adobe form to fill out here, which is pretty fun. Ugh. Surfer boy. No. No. Absolutely not. All right. New Adobe form just dropped. Let's hit him with something good. I don't know. Nah, you know what? This is lame. Somebody's going to be trying to do their job later, and they're going to get this error report, and they're going to be like, what is he talking about? And then they're going to have to go in, and it's going to be, we don't need to put that on anybody. Don't send. Okay, that's fine. We'll just open this back up. Oof. No, we don't need to reopen. Just gonna go new project. Yep, let's grab all those. And let's call it... Oh, wait, no. Let me choose the location. Hello? Where's this window that it supposedly popped up? Oh gosh, that's annoying. It's not this. Where did you go? What are you talking about? Okay, well, that's very annoying. Dang, rough day for Premiere. Hello? Close, please? Are we just crashing now? Is that what's going on? Alright. Do this the old-fashioned way.
Oh my gosh. Is it just me or is Task Manager like impossible to use? Trying to click on Premiere Pro. It's constantly moving around. Dude, what is going on? Okay. Try this again. Fun content. Watching me troubleshoot. Oh my gosh. I don't know what's going on here. I really don't know where this window that it thinks it pulled up went. Let's give Task Manager one more try here. Dang, even Task Manager is kind of glitching out. That's not a good combo. No, we don't need to go to the feedback hub. Oof. All right. Well. Yeah, now Task Manager's not responding. Okay, maybe I bit off a little more than my computer could chew with this Premiere Plus streaming idea. Although I will say the stream seems to be running fine. Don't seem to be getting any interruptions there. Okay, so we can do this. Just open this project back up. Okay, maybe we're saved. Okay, whatever. That was weird. Let's go back to new project. Okay, I guess we're fine. Whatever. I just won't mess with this field for now. This is going to be called Gencon _ anime 24. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go back and mess with that later if I need to. Okay, so here are all the clips that I've got. First thing we're going to do is delete all the audio. So let's unlink and delete that. Now we can go through, and I kind of just want to watch all of these before, just to kind of get a reminder for what we've got. I'm pretty sure the format of this video is just going to be like, how many anime trading card games are there at Gen Con? Let's count them. And then we're just going to literally count them and see how long that takes. So let's go through it. This is altered, not anime per se, but it is a trading card game, and it's probably the biggest one that I saw at Gen Con this year. I don't know, the art clearly has like some anime roots. Primal TCG, they were here last year too, and that certainly counts, I would say. Okay, this is not a card game, but it is basically a whole booth that's just selling anime merch. worth noting. Honorable mention, I'd say. This is not a trading card game, but it is a card game, and it is anime, and it is very much on sale, so that's pretty cool. Here's Cowboy Bebop. Also not a trading card game. Maybe we take this out, but I thought it was cool to see some Cowboy Bebop love. Personal favorite of mine. This is, I think, the Weiss Schwartz booth. They've got all their different brands, including their new Idol line of cards. Get a load of that. It's good stuff. Yeah, this is the same booth. They've got them all lined up on a big poster back there. Card Fight Vanguard. Classic. Okay, here's Union Arena with their hot new Jujutsu Kaisen crossover. Pretty sick. Here's some card samples from Union Arena. These look awesome. These are probably the nicest looking cards that we saw. Is this the same video twice? No. No, these are the Bleach ones. Same game, though. Okay, I think this is called Soul Shards. TCG. From what I can tell, they were launching at Gencon. And I'm not really sure what the distinguishing factor is supposed to be here. Yeah, here's the big poster that they've got. Looks cool, but looks are not always enough. And then this is Luffy's Bento Panic. Once again, not a trading card game, but certainly anime. All right, so that's all the clips. I guess maybe let's organize these by the ones that actually are anime trading card games. Maybe there's not as many as I thought there was. I don't know why I thought there was going to be like 5 at least. So that's not. Let's put the ones that aren't on their own layer here. This is... Oh, you know what? Actually, we don't even need to move them around. We can just denote it this way. This certainly counts. Both of these count. Yeah, that's both Union Arena. That's also Union Arena. I guess maybe it's just a lot of Union Arena stuff. Card Fight Vanguard, that counts. All of this counts. That doesn't count. That doesn't count. This doesn't count. This definitely counts. And this almost counts. Okay, so we've got Primal, Weiss Schwartz, Card Fight Vanguard, Union Arena, more Union Arena, and Soul Shards. And that's it. Okay. So was that 4 different ones? I would say that's a notable amount. It feels like a lot. It feels like, you know, I mean, the point I'm trying to get across here is that it seems like a space that's kind of taking off right now. It seems like people seem to think that there's a large audience for anime trading card games at this current moment. So maybe we front load all of these and move the ones that are not to the back here as like honorable mentions. It's kind of what I'm thinking. Okay, now we should probably go in and figure out where the, like, how to trim all of these down. Just want to figure out how to make this box a little larger. So I can see what's going on here. Oh, you know what? You know what else we should do before we forget about it? We should drag and drop this overlay in here as well. Just so we can kind of keep in mind what it looks like with that on there. Oh yeah, much better. I wish I'd gotten some video footage of the front of Gencon that has that had that big Union Arena sign covering it. Maybe we open with this footage of like the big anime booth while I... Oh, there's not that much footage there. Like, well, now that's... It seems like not that much footage, but it's a long video, so that's... I think that should probably be enough. Let's just watch this back. Oh yeah, that's plenty. Can even slow that down if we need to. Yeah, let's open with that. We're gonna need to slow that down a little bit. 80 seems good. 7 seconds for the intro. Why is it not letting me mess with those settings? Is it popping out that window the same place that was popping out the other one that was giving me so much trouble before? I wonder. I really wonder. Let me see if I can find it. If I close out of all this stuff, if I minimize all this stuff, if I bring Premiere Pro over here, minimize this, and then try to open this up. No, it's really not opening. Okay, maybe I need to restart Premiere. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, you know, this is probably going to take a Premiere restart and also a computer restart. And we've also been going for over 2 hours now. So I think I might just actually go ahead and call it here, work on the rest of this offline after I do what I need to do here on my end. But yeah, definitely, we got one clip done. I think I can probably wrap up the second one off stream. And yeah, I feel like this has been a nice little session we've had here. Some good content creation. So yeah, definitely look out for these clips on the appropriate channels when they come out. I'm hoping to get them up ASAP. So shouldn't take too much longer here. And yeah, thanks for hanging out today. Thanks for sticking around to the end, guys. Really appreciate you being here. And I will see you Friday for hopefully some game design, some new playtesting stuff with Arl. Arl will definitely be here. The game may or may not be here. Yeah, so that'll be all for me. You guys, until then, take it easy. Have a good one. And I'll catch you next time. Peace out.